The Orlando Magic, quite simply, just might be a cursed franchise injury-wise this season. I mean, 4 of their top 8 guys have now gone out with significant injuries, or at least in this case with Jalen Suggs, a seemingly significant injury. Now, I will say, I do think there's a possibility the Suggs injury looked a lot worse than it actually was. He was taken off the court in a wheelchair, and yet I watched Brian Sutter's video, who's the doctor who does a lot of videos like this. He's on YouTube, actually. Go check out his page if you haven't. But he's the doctor who breaks down a lot of these types of injuries and basically gives us a picture of what he thinks they probably are as a sports medicine doctor. And he said that he thinks there's a good chance this is just back spasms. And if that's the case, that could very easily be he's just out for a couple of days. Maybe he misses a game or two and he's back. And hopefully that's the case, obviously. But man, this team has just been so cursed by injuries, and yet they're still the 4th seed in the East. And it's pretty remarkable how they've been able to push through. I think Jamal Mosley should be honestly getting some serious Coach of the Year buzz. I get that Kenny Atkinson's kind of running away with the award, and probably deservedly so, but still. I'm very impressed by the ability of the Magic to just overcome injury after injury after injury. And I think this team, if they can get pretty close to fully healthy, is going to be a really terrifying out in the playoffs. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Uploading every single day, multiple videos a day on this channel. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it and let's talk about the Magic. So tonight, despite Jalen Suggs only playing 13 minutes, they get a win on the road, admittedly against a very bad Toronto Raptors team, but they were up 20 going into the 4th quarter. Like they won pretty comfortably, which was a important win. I mean, Tristan da Silva, good Lord, he's their best offensive player now. 9 of 13, 5 of 7 from 3, 25 points, a +12. Goga goes for 11, 13, and 7. Goga has really been a huge find for the Magic this season. I mean, he has, looking at his career compared to what he's doing this season, it is really impressive. I mean, he's been a serious, consistent double-double since Mo Wagner went out. And for his career, I mean, last season was a career high 15 minutes a game. All of a sudden, he's the starting center in Orlando and a massive piece of what they have going now, but also probably what they continue to want to have for the rest of the season. Like, he will be the starting center for this team as long as he is healthy, which with this team at this point, it seems like a big if. But I mean, Cole Anthony with 34 minutes off the bench had 11 assists to 3 turnovers, so that's pretty good. I feel like they just continue to find ways to win. They're getting contributions from guys that, like, how are these guys the contributors to a 4 seed in the NBA at this point in the season? And honestly, my question is, here's the thing, yo. Let's think about the Magic season so far. Paulo Banchero, 5 games into the season, torn oblique, out for an indefinite period of time. And he's been out for the last 2 months, basically, and will likely be back pretty soon. I mean, the Magic did just come out and say a couple days ago that Paulo has been out, who's obviously been out for more than 2 months now, but he was able to practice earlier this week on Tuesday, and he still has a couple hurdles left to clear before he is able to return, which is full contact work and participating on 5-on-5 scrimmages. My guess is that Paulo's probably about a week away from returning, would be my guess, which is a really much needed return. Franz Wagner will likely be a month behind that timeline in all likelihood, with somehow the exact same injury, an oblique injury, which is a very rare, like a torn oblique is not a common injury. And yet somehow both the Magic's best players a month apart from each other suffer the same injury. Like, that is really unfortunate. But Franz will likely not be back until middle of February is what we're looking at time frame wise. Hopefully this Suggs injury is not significant and this is not some sort of pulled muscle or something along those lines that could lead to a longer term recovery. Potentially he might miss more time, but if he only misses a game or two, that will be encouraging for a team that definitely cannot afford to lose him. Let's just put it that way. I think that's a very accurate thing to say. And I hope that for his sake and for the Magic's sake, that he's not going to be out long term. And then obviously they just lost Mo Wagner for the season too, tore his ACL. Like, that's 4 of their top 8 most important players that have had significant injuries, or, I mean, Mo is out for the season. The one thing they do have going for them is that by playoff time, in theory, they would have all 3 of Suggs, Paulo, and Wagner healthy, at least Franz Wagner. And with the emergence of Tristan da Silva as a shockingly important and valuable role player to this team, Goga Bitadze, same thing, really has been impressive and much needed for this team. I mean, KCP has that championship veteran experience that these types of young teams who are looking to begin contending want to see. I really like John Isaac defensively, even if offensively he can be a bit of a nothing sometimes. I don't love the depth beyond these types of guys. Like, Wendell Carter Jr. is a good player, but I feel like he's very much capped himself at this point in his career. He's not shooting the ball nearly as well as he used to, which is strange. But I will say, if they have to play without Paulo, Franz, and Jalen Suggs, it's going to be, and Mo Wagner too, by the way, who was the 4th leading scorer on this team. Who is going to score? I mean, they might score 64 points. Like, offensively, this team is very much like at the bottom of the league in 3-point shooting. I'm not sure if they're the worst in the league in 3-point shooting. Let me pull up the stats because I don't actually have them pulled up. But let me pull up the shooting stats real quickly just to see where the Magic are in 3-point percentage right now, because I know it is right near the bottom of the league. 3-point percentage. Worst 3-point percentage in the league is the Orlando Magic by over 2 percentage points to the freaking, well, I guess the Rockets are about a 3-point shooting team too, and then the Wizards, the Trailblazers, Pelicans, bunch of taking teams, and then the worst 2 teams in the league shooting the 3 ball are the Rockets, and a couple percentage points lower the Magic. Somehow, despite all the injuries, despite the complete woes shooting the 3 ball, they're the 4 seed in the East. And they're still hanging in there, 4-6 in their last 10, despite not having Franz or Paulo, despite not having Mo Wagner for a big chunk of that. They are just finding a way to hang in there and continue to be a competitive team. And look, nobody wants to face the Zombie Magic in the playoffs if they are healthy, because defensively they are really, really good and really, really intense. And offensively, I mean, you do have to think that with Paulo back, the spacing will improve. The shots are probably going to start going down a little bit more consistently. I mean, they may not be a great shooting roster, but come on, they're not going to be worse in the league by over 2 percentage points. That doesn't make sense. So if they can continue to win games with their defense and start to score the ball better offensively, I mean, KCP needs to be a big part of that because he shot 30% from 3 this season after, for his career, for his career, he's a 36% 3-point shooter. These last few years, 41, 39, 42, over 40.5%. Like this year, he's at 30%. I get that he's getting older in his career, but come on, KCP is going to play and going to shoot better than that. 100%. And if they can get him to elevate his level of play and get some of these younger guys to play a little bit better offensively in their own roles, potentially guys like Anthony Black. I know John Isaac isn't super young at this point, but if he could shoot the 3 ball better, that would be nice. Cole Anthony, come on, we can't be 29% from 3. Like, in general, they need more contributions from some of these wings and some of these guards and some of these guys who are the youth on this team. But if they can get a couple of those contributions and they can get this team back healthy, as cursed as they have been by injuries all season, the Orlando Magic could very quickly become a super intriguing team in the Eastern Conference. And I will tell you this, they're a brutal team to play in a 7-game series if fully healthy, because they are just going to wear you down with their effort, their intensity, how well they're coached, and eventually they're probably going to make some shots as well. I think if they don't make shots on the outside, that will be the kryptonite of this team. And honestly, I have a hard time seeing them making it out of the second round of the playoffs, but I think they could 100% make it out the first round. That seems plausible. I just feel like if you match Boston, New York, Cleveland in the second round, good luck. That's the other reason why it's so important for them to hold on to that top 4 seed as well, because Boston, Cleveland, and New York all look like wrecking balls right now. So that is also very much worth keeping in mind. But despite how cursed the Magic have been injury-wise, they just keep finding a way. It's very impressive. Jamal Mosley deserves a ton of credit. This roster and all these role players who are just finding a way to contribute deserve a lot of credit as well. And hopefully it continues, man. Hopefully they start shooting the 3 ball better, because it'll be fun to watch them in the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a fun team to watch in the playoffs. If they can just stay healthy, this is going to be a blast of a team to watch down the stretch of the season. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.